Wheat is the common name of different varieties of monocotyledonous plants belonging to a single genus, named Triticum in Latin by botanist Linnaeus from the verb tritare, i.e. the action of grinding, whose phonetic sound recalls the action of milling the grains to obtain flour. Genus Triticum belongs to the family of the Poaceae, which includes many other plants cultivated as food crops, such as oat, corn, rice, barley and rye, commonly known as cereals from Ceres, the Roman goddess of harvest. Over the centuries, cereals have gained considerable importance in the diet because of their richness in starch and proteins. The first farmers focused their attention on a limited number of varieties. They selected them in their natural environment to be later planted and grown. In the Middle East, they selected the first varieties of wheat, spelt and barley. In China, they selected dry cultivated wild rice. In Africa, sorghum. In America, corn.
La cosa sorprendente è che queste piante allo stato naturale sono indigeste, o perlomeno sgradevoli. Perché mai allora l'uomo avrebbe deciso di coltivare proprio queste varietà? Diffondendosi per tutto il globo, la specie umana entrò in competizione con gli altri animali per procurarsi il cibo. E quando non era possibile procurarsi il cibo facile, era necessario per sopravvivere trovare quello difficile. Ecco perché l'uomo cominciò a raccogliere questi semi che noi chiamiamo cereali e che se mangiati crudi sono indigesti e imparò a triturarli, a trasformarli in farina, a impastarli, a cuocerli, facendo nascere il pane e la pasta. Attraverso il suo cervello l'uomo riuscì ad avere un vantaggio competitivo rispetto a tutte le altre specie animali. Ancora oggi, dopo migliaia di anni, i cereali garantiscono la sopravvivenza dell'umanità.
Recent archaeological research in Italy, Tuscany and Apulia, and in Europe, Russia and Poland, has shown that already in Paleolithic age, 30,000 years ago, humans had learned to grind tubers and wild cereals by means of simple milling stones to obtain flour and prepare soups or focaccias cooked on hot stones. At the end of the Ice Age, around 9000 BC, the changed climatic conditions enabled the birth of agriculture in the Middle East. Wheat cultivation spread to Greece and Italy, where it was already present in the second millennium before Christ, and in the Po Plain area with the Terra Mara civilization. The tools found by archaeologists are not very different from the ones used by farmers for centuries until the early 20th century. The soil in autumn was ploughed with the help of animals. Then it was seeded and spudded in spring. Small half-moon-shaped scythes were used to reap in June, and the harvested ears of wheat were then beaten to take out the grains to be milled. With mechanization in agriculture in the 1920s, tractors with engines quietly started to replace animals in field activities. But only after the Second World War, with the wide distribution of tractors, all the steps in wheat processing became automated, with ploughing, seeding in simple or double row, spudding and reaping, which are now performed by large-sized and high-yield machines. Down the centuries, following the domestication of wild species and the first rough selection practices, different species of wheat evolved, in particular common wheat, Triticum aestivum, and durum wheat, Triticum turgidum variety durum. Common wheat spread especially in temperate and fertile areas with good rainfalls. Durum wheat instead, thanks to its higher resistance to the lack of water and to its shorter life cycle, adapted to the hot climates of the Mediterranean. Worldwide, about 230 million hectares of land are cultivated with wheat, of which 90% is common wheat and 10% is durum wheat, whose percentage is growing. In Italy, The highest production of durum wheat is in Apulia, Sicily, and recently in the Emilia-Romagna region, thanks to the selection of good quality agronomic varieties that are suitable for the climate of this region.
La macinazione è un processo fisico che ha come obiettivo la produzione della farina, se partiamo dal grano tenero o da altri cereali, o della semola se partiamo dal grano duro, separandoli dalle parti della cariosside del grano, cioè il chicco, rispetto alle impurità come la crusca, il germe o le altre componenti. Già nell'era paleolitica gli uomini avevano imparato, sfregando due sassi, i macinelli, a tritare tuberi o cereali trasformandoli in farina.
The evolution of milling stones led to the invention of a rotating mill that enables a less tiring and more constant production of flour. Wheat could be fed continuously through the central hole of the top millstone. The Greeks developed the first water mills, which were then fine-tuned by the Romans. They widely spread in the Middle Ages, exploiting also the river streams and the wind. The mill has been for centuries a meeting and exchange place for communities and has been a key element in the economic and social growth of rural populations. In the past, with stone mills, bran was milled with a wheat kernel, producing a flour from which only the larger sized pieces of bran could be removed. The popularity of the metal cylinder mill at the end of the 19th century led to selective milling of the various parts of the kernel.
Una delle prime forme di alimentazione umana, consolidatasi intorno a 9.000 anni fa con l'avvento dell'agricoltura, è la preparazione di polente ricavate dalla triturazione dei chicchi di cereali mescolati ad acqua, crudi o cotti. Questo miscuglio può essere considerato il progenitore della pasta, sviluppatosi in svariate aree geografiche e per questo può essere definito come un cibo dell'umanità.
From this primitive dough came the three large categories of food linked to cereals. Pulse, the Latin word for porridge, mush, obtained by cooking whole grains in water and then crushing them. All the kinds of bread, dry cooked, fresh and dry pasta, wet cooked. Pulse, prepared from spelt, was a basic food of the Romans for centuries. For this reason, pasta, more complex to prepare, had difficulties establishing itself as a staple in Roman society. A very thick pulse, evolved into a dumpling, may be the true ancestor of pasta.
La pasta acquista una grande importanza storica nel momento in cui diventa un cibo a lunghissima conservazione, capace di far superare carestie o di accompagnare eserciti, marinai, carovane in grandi e lunghi spostamenti. Questo momento si lega alla scoperta da parte dell'uomo della differenza fra il grano duro e il grano tenero e alla possibilità del grano duro di produrre una pasta che dura a lungo nel tempo. Gli storici sono ormai concordi nel collocare questo fatto in epoca medievale e in area medio-orientale.
Climatic differences influence the possibility of cultivating these two types of wheat. Durum wheat thrived in hot climates, common wheat also at more northern latitudes. This is why two types of pasta developed in parallel. Fresh pasta, made from common wheat, mixed with eggs to ensure firmness in cooking, and dry pasta from durum wheat. This is the reason why, still today, in most Eastern European countries and in the whole of South America, the market is dominated by pasta made from common wheat. Only in Italy, a law dating back to 1967 establishes that pasta can be exclusively made using durum wheat, thus confirming a centuries-old tradition.
Recenti studi parrebbero dimostrare un ruolo significativo delle comunità ebraiche nella diffusione della coltivazione del grano duro e nel suo impiego nella produzione della pasta in Sicilia, tra il secondo e il V secolo, prima ancora quindi della dominazione araba. Gli arabi in ogni caso furono determinanti nel favorire durante la dominazione sull'isola la diffusione della pasta. Già nel IX secolo, nel libro di cucina di Ibran al-Mibrad, sono noti diversi formati della pasta. In seguito la cultura araba abbandonerà la pasta, che troverà invece la sua massima applicazione in Italia.
Fresh pasta made from common wheat in the shape of a sheet, nowadays called lasagna, might descend directly from the Greeks' laganon or the Romans' lagana. The dry, thread-like pasta made from durum wheat might instead originate from the eastern part of the Roman Empire in the 1st centuries AD and was found in Sicily already in the 9th century. These two types of pasta are the result of two different processes: rolling for pasta sheets and extrusion for spaghetti, and for most of the pasta shapes produced today. It was in the Middle Ages that dry semolina pasta began to spread in Italy, starting from Sicily, the rich granary in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. In 1154, the Arab geographer Idrisi wrote that in Trabia, 30 kilometers away from Palermo,
Si fabbrica tanta pasta in forma di fili, itria in arabo, che se ne esporta in tutte le parti, nella Calabria e in tanti paesi musulmani e cristiani, anche via nave.
Because of famines and wars, the spreading of pasta slowed down, and only in 1200, new reports about it emerged on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, i.e. in the Liguria region.
È probabile che in un primo tempo mercanti genovesi avessero importato dalla Sicilia vermicelli e tria, ma già nel 1200 abbiamo documenti dell'Archivio di Stato di Genova che confermano la produzione della pasta in Liguria. Nel 300 sono numerose le testimonianze di produzione della pasta in Emilia. Bologna, come il resto del nord Italia, non potendo coltivare in loco il grano duro, si specializza nella produzione di pasta all'uovo con grano tenero. I formati più noti e diffusi, legati alla produzione di pasta sfoglia, sono le tagliatelle e le paste ripiene, tortellini con ripieni di carne, che ancora oggi fanno parte della tradizione culinaria di questa regione.
The debut in literature of maccheroni, which was then shaped like dumplings, took place in the middle of the 14th century with the Decameron, one of the most important works of Italian literature of the time, in the description of the wonderland of Bengodi, where it appeared between mountains of Parmesan cheese and rivers of Vernaccia and Lambrusco wines. The production of pasta progressively turned into an artisan industrial activity, also thanks to the introduction in the 16th century of new machinery, namely kneading machines, presses and dies, that speeded up production.
La pasta è comunque un lusso, un cibo costoso che solo le classi più abbienti possono permettersi, oppure destinato ai giorni di festa, come il Natale, la Pasqua, San Giovanni o il patrono. Ma è anche un cibo tecnico, destinato a categorie specifiche, come i marinai o i mercanti delle carovane. L'alimentazione del popolo rimane sempre il pane.
Starting from the 17th century, several companies producing pasta appeared around Naples. The specific climatic conditions of the Amalfi Coast with constant breezes favored the best natural drying of pasta, which turned the towns of Gragnano and Torre Annunziata into true outdoors macaroni factories. Pasta became a popular food that could be bought on the streets, dressed with cheese and pepper, which was the origin of the saying, like cheese on macaroni.
A Napoli va riconosciuto il merito di aver reso popolare la pasta, che da cibo dei ricchi o specializzato per pochi diventa alimento popolare, consumato per le strade, dando l'avvio a quella grande rivoluzione gastronomica che porterà la pasta ad essere l'alimento base della nostra alimentazione.
Between the 19th and 20th centuries, the introduction of new technologies for the controlled drying of pasta will favor the growth of pasta factories in all Italian regions. Amongst the many, there was also the Barilla pasta factory that was born from a small bread and pasta shop in 1877 in Parma, in the Emilia region, and which is today pasta world leader. The most common and popular tools have very old origins, and they are certainly the spianatoia, or cutting board in softwood, the matterello, or rolling pin in hardwood and calibrated, and the knife. These tools were already represented in the Etruscan Tomb of the Reliefs in Cerveteri. Speronelle, cutting wheels and molds, developed to produce filled pasta. They had different shapes and sizes, were carved from hard boxwood or cast in metal, bronze and brass, and equipped with handles. During the 16th century, the art of pasta making was enriched by new tools, such as the kneading machine and the press, which, thanks to the extrusion through a die, gave rise to a wide variety of round or hollow shapes. The die, which is applied at the end of the press, is a metal plate with several holes of varying shapes and sizes that makes the different pasta shapes. L'ingegno per i maccheroni, i.e. the device for making macaroni, was mentioned for the first time by Cristoforo Messisbugo in 1549.
Inizialmente costruito in legno, con campana e trafila in bronzo, il torchio viene applicato al muro della cucina per poter esercitare meglio la pressione con una stanga o con una pertica e produrre più agevolmente la pasta. L'evoluzione tecnologica porta a introdurre prima la vite di metallo e poi a produrre torchi interamente in metallo, in grado di sopportare pressioni sempre maggiori. Ed è sicuramente questa, torchio e trafila, un'invenzione tipicamente italiana, che ha fatto della pasta un prodotto industriale, consentendone la produzione su vasta scala, l'abbattimento dei costi e la più ampia diffusione.
A long technological process that developed between 1300 and 1800 led to the creation of increasingly bigger machines, much more performing than the ones for home use, to relieve labor in small artisan factories. Therefore, a specific machine was developed for each one of the key steps in pasta making. The mixing of the raw materials took place in the mixer, equipped with a large wheel or mechanical arms that roughly mixed the semolina and water. Refining or kneading took place in the kneading machine, a large tub equipped with conical rollers or grooved cylinders that massaged the dough to make it even and smooth, ready for the subsequent processes. The shaping of the various pasta types followed two different processes. For pasta shapes obtained from the dough sheet, such as tagliatelle and tagliolini, the dough went through a rolling or sheeting machine. For extruded shapes, like spaghetti or rigatoni, the dough was fed into the press, where it was compressed by the piston that forced the raw material through the holes on the die plate, which contributed to give the final form to the individual shapes that were then cut to the desired length manually or by mechanical blades. The final drying in old times took place on frames, in rooms heated with braziers and equipped with fans, or in trucks with drawers equipped with fans. The packaging in large baskets enabled the product to reach the shops where pasta was sold by weight. The first 25 years of the 20th century saw several attempts to automate the various production phases to reduce rejects and downtimes between the various steps and to increase product hygiene and quality. On the 6th of October 1917, the French Ferraillot Saint-Ranier, using a technology already employed in the brick industry to produce hollow bricks, patented a press where the dough was mixed by a long worm screw. Therefore, it was no longer necessary to feed the machine at the end of each piston stroke, and production times shortened considerably. Engineers Mario and Giuseppe Braibanti, the sons of an important pasta maker from Parma, succeeded in 1933 to combine mixer and press in a single machine that could work continuously, and they tested it in the family's pasta factory.
L'innovazione fu rivoluzionaria e già negli anni 30 i fratelli Braibanti costruirono prima a Parma e poi a Rovereto la loro macchina, sempre più ingrandita e migliorata.
It was first in the 1950s in the Barilla factory in Parma that, after long trials, the technology to automate drying was completed by handling short pasta on conveyors and spaghetti on tubes running inside long dryers with controlled temperatures to alternate the various drying and softening phases of pasta. At the same time, the first automatic packaging machines were developed. The year 1953 saw the inauguration of the first entirely automated and continuous pasta production line, the forefather of modern industrial production.
Tra la fine dell'Ottocento e la Prima Guerra Mondiale erano attivi in Italia diverse centinaia di pastifici, dai più piccoli a conduzione familiare ai più grandi di dimensione industriale. La comunicazione di tanti marchi era affidata principalmente ai commercianti, che all'interno di negozi monomarca vendevano la pasta a sfuso. Per caratterizzare il punto vendita esponevano semplici materiali, cartelli vetrina, targhe metalliche, calendari, oggetti che comunque richiamavano il nome del marchio della pasta prodotta. Solo pochi pastifici di dimensioni più grandi potevano permettersi grandi firme e pubblicità importanti, che nell'epoca d'oro del cartellonismo italiano venivano affidate a professionisti rinomati.
In the first half of the 20th century, designers did not focus much on the product characteristics, but rather on the creation of emblematic, extraordinary and symbolic characters, since they were asked to develop an idea that had to attract, surprise and amuse according to the style of the time that characterized trends from the eclecticism of the 19th century to liberty and decor styles. The most common image was that of the cook, chosen as a testimonial by many pasta makers, followed by that of children, the privileged target of gluten-enriched soup pasta that was very popular in the first half of the 20th century. In the 30s, following the push of the futuristic mechanical philosophy, which had even fought against pasta without success, characters made up of pasta shapes became popular. And the 50s were the moment of glory of housewives who were immortalized in the first TV commercials before leaving the stage. But the true post-war stars were undoubtedly the pasta packs that revolutionized the distribution system and that found a new extraordinary channel of communication in the television. Cardboard boxes and cellophane bags became the identification elements that will make Italian pasta famous all over the world. In culinary art, the most important expressions are embodied by three-dimensional objects, as it happens in architecture. Pasta is architecture for the mouth. The mind receives information from the mouth about shape, surface and texture, but also about smell, taste and temperature. Just using the mouth and without seeing, we can distinguish all types of pasta. And in the mouth, they develop their different characteristics that may look similar to the sight. For these characteristics to be read by the mouth, it is indispensable for pasta to be al dente.
Il piatto di pasta all'italiana è una creazione casalinga. frutto della combinazione degli ingredienti disponibili sul territorio e dell'infinita fantasia della popolazione, che ha trasformato un semplice piatto in una continua sorpresa. Così, nelle diverse ricette, possiamo gustare sul supporto pasta, carne, formaggi, verdura, pesce, spesso in combinazioni nutrizionalmente perfette.
Wherever you eat it, with the family, at the restaurant, at work or with friends, pasta is always a true pleasure, dressed with 1,000 years of gastronomic experience and by the creativity of Italian chefs. An ever-changing way of shaping taste.